Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace and hope for elect. All right, I'm going to do a lesson on the Supreme Court decision to, basically they had a, matter of fact, let me grab the article. It says, Supreme Court hobbles challenges by inmates based on poor legal representation. All right, it says the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Monday that state prisoners have no constitutional right to present new evidence in federal court to support their claims that they were represented at trial and on appeal in state courts by unqualified or otherwise deficient lawyers. The vote was 6-3 along ideological lines. Okay, now let me play the TikTok video.
Breaking news, the U.S. Supreme Court has just issued one of the most horrific and dystopian rulings in history. The Supreme Court has ruled to gut a lifeline for prisoners who were wrongfully convicted, even when new evidence shows that they were innocent of the crime they were convicted of. Ruling 6-3, the right-wing Supreme Court said that new evidence that was previously not admitted due to ineffective legal counsel cannot be used.
So basically, you know, when you're dealing with the minorities, a lot of minorities cannot afford legal counsel. You know, you get state representation. So basically, the bill says if you come up with evidence that you were inadequately represented, you know, you got facts in your case, they didn't bring out facts, and a lot of those people be having multiple cases. You might see your lawyer 1 or 2 times for 5 or 10 minutes before you go to trial, you know, because when you go into it, most of them is plea deals. When you got a state appointed lawyer, well, in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, about 90 or 90+% of them are plea deals, plea agreements. All right, and they got sayings for it, you know, what they call it. You got sent up the river, or PD, public defender sent up the river, something like that, you know. And I'm speaking from personal experience, you know, from being wrapped up in a criminal justice system, you know, from a teen, you know, 14, 15, 16, up into early 20s. And but that's the situation. All right. So with that being the situation, what happens? You know, Jake become jailhouse lawyers. You know, Jake go in there and get the reading and studying and research. And then they find out, like, look, I wasn't properly represented. Then they file claims and appeals, and they go back to court, and sometimes the convictions get overturned. Sometimes they get exonerated, and other times they don't. In Indiana, in particular, if you file an appeal and lose the appeal, they'll increase the sentence. They'll make it even harsher for you. All right. They say they gave you 10 years, but they may add another 10. Now you got 20. So what does that do? That discourages you to question the negligence.
To exonerate anyone. This means that even if a prisoner or an inmate can prove that they were completely innocent and had no fault for their conviction, tough luck. And the theory used to uphold this barbaric ruling is the same theory used to uphold slavery, states' rights. Per Justice Thomas, states apparently have...
Right, because what happened was, you know, the state mishandled something where you appeal to the federal court, because the federal court is higher than the state, you know. And a lot of the states, or depending on the county where you at, where you get convicted at, a lot of these prisons are privately owned. All right. So it behooves the state to keep you in prison. And who do they keep primarily in prison? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay.
A right to execute people even when they are innocent. Since 1972, over 1,500 Americans have been executed, and 187 of them were later exonerated. Disproportionately black and brown, 11% of all people America has executed were innocent the whole time. This is your pro-life Supreme Court.
And that's just what we know. How many people were scared to make an appeal? You know, How many people was like, you see what happened with the Central Park Five? You know, how many people was coerced into false confessions? You know, that was going on in Chicago. You got a lot of stuff coming out now where a lot of police be planning things on Jay. There's one police officer, they had to investigate every arrest he ever made because he was planting stuff on people, man. So anyway, with that, let's grab this scripture. This is Psalms chapter 94, verse 20. It says, "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee?" What's the throne of iniquity? This current system, the Western civilization ruled by Edomites. All right, the so-called YT man, right? What's the throne of iniquity? His LGBTQ, right? His pro-choice, right? His feminism, all right? His GMOs, and countless things you can't even name. His chemtrails, all right? Shall it have fellowship with these? Is he a friend of the Most High? Is he a man of God? Is he godly? It says, well, the answer to that is no. It says, which frameth mischief by a law. See, he makes all these laws, and it confuses people because people think just because it's legal that it's right. No, just because it's something legal, that don't mean it's right. All right. He framing mischief by a law. All right. Why? To further keep our people locked up, to further keep you oppressed. Right. That's why the scripture says, I can read this too. Isaiah 10:2. It says, to turn aside the needy, let me go to 10:1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Yeah, this is an unrighteous decree. Another word for decree is a law or a mandate or whatever, right? This is unrighteous decree. Here it is. They said they got, even if they present evidence that'll help conclude their innocence, or evidence that'll conclude that they weren't properly represented. It says, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to do what? To turn aside the needy from judgment. All right. Another word for the needy is the poor. All right. To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. Now, didn't you say you got a right to effective counsel and all of this? Man, that's garbage, man. It says that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. All right, and that's what happened. You know, you got a lot of widows get cheated out of their husband's insurance, things of that nature. You got a lot of these Israelites grew up in the system, grew up without a father. All right, become wards of the state, or turn to a life of a crime. Start off petty crime, then it increase. And sometimes you got cases where people stole a candy bar and went to jail 5-10 years and until they was 21 or whatever. But it's all to keep you locked up, keep you in jail. All right. Let's go back to let's read some of this article. It says in 2012, the court ruled that when a state court substantially interferes with a defendant's constitutional right to be represented by counsel, the defendant with the new lawyer may appeal to federal court to show that he was denied his right to effective counsel. Back then, the majority was 7-2, with Justice Clarence Thomas in dissent. On Monday, Thomas wrote the majority decision hollowing out that 2012 ruling on behalf of the court's new 6-justice conservative supermajority. He said that federal courts may not hear new evidence obtained after conviction to show how deficient the trial or appellate lawyer in state court was. To allow such evidence to be presented in federal court, he said, encourages prisoners to sandbag state courts, depriving the states of the finality that is essential to both the retributive and deterrent function of
not getting
criminal
the
law. And
treats.
see, and then
You're
they'll
not being a nice
use
boy.
these pretty words, and they'll try to make it seem like they operating
You're
from
not
a
being a
fair
nice boy.
viewpoint. Well, no, the state
You
gotta
are
have
a
the
nice
right. We don't
boy?
want to encourage.
Okay.
Nah, let's read the next paragraph.
If you touch me, you're not getting a treat. You're not getting a
Wait a
treat.
minute, what is this in the background?
You're not being a nice boy.
What is this, man? Pause
Being a
that
nice.
shit, man. What's going on? TikTok shit. All right. It says, it says she pointed to one of the cases before the court was illustrative. The defendant, Barry Jones, was sentenced to death for the brutal sexual harassment, sexual assault of killing of a 4-year-old girl. But his court appointed, see, that's the public defender. His court appointed, see, he couldn't afford a lawyer. See, he was given a public defender, right? All right. But his court appointed trial court lawyer did not investigate the facts of the case. Arizona law in Arizona is a very racist state. Okay, it's very anti Israelite, very anti-Negro, Latino, Native American. All right, Arizona law does not allow the first post-conviction appeal to raise the question of ineffective assistance of counsel. So they don't even let you question it. And on the second appeal, the appellate lawyer did not raise the question either. Only when federal public defenders were brought into the case for a federal court hearing did they examine the medical evidence and consult experts who later testified that the injuries inflicted on the child occurred not when the prosecution claimed, but at a time when Jones was nowhere near the child and could not have inflicted them. And that's the whole point for the federal court. When the Supreme when the state mishandle things, then the federal jumps in, because what happens is the state mishandles all sorts of things, but a lot of people don't have the buzz to get it out there. All right, you know how many different states mishandle people cases. All right, and it ain't like it ain't like these things was on accident. All right, these people have conversations about what they gonna do. All right, well, okay, we're going to give him 10, 15. They don't care if you innocent or not. They got these contracts with these private prison owners, man. The one guy, I believe it was Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. The one lawyer, he went to jail for just not lawyer, pardon me. The one judge went to jail or was indicted or something to that effect, because he was just sending people to jail. Why? Because he was receiving kickbacks and money from the private prison owners and all of that, man. All right. It says, but at a time when Jones was nowhere near the child and could not have inflicted them, the federal judge hearing the case found that both the defense lawyer at trial and the appellate lawyer in state court had provided ineffective assistance of counsel. A unanimous panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed, meaning that if the decision had held, the state would have had to retry Jones or release him. All right, and so that's the whole point. So now that's mischief, because here, basically, they look, you locked up. Then don't be coming to us with what the state say. That's what the state said. Ain't coming to no federal, ain't no appealing, and ain't all of that. You locked up. So-called black man, so-called Latino man, so-called Native American man, right? So this is still in the book of Isaiah 42 and 22. It says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, right? And the hole is a trap, all right? It says, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey and none delivereth, right? It says, for a spoil and none saith restore. Okay, so Here it is, you get messed up, you get killed in the streets, you get wrongfully convicted, and nobody pleading your nobody saying doing hardcore investigations and marching and like how they used to do, right, in the 50s and 60s, boycotts. We gonna do a bus boycott. We ain't gonna spend our money no more, right? We gonna do what we gotta do to get some change around here, so to speak, right? Ain't nobody saying, besides the men of the Lord, the Israelites who calling for justice through the Spirit. But other than that, ain't nobody saying where the justice at? Where Joe Biden? Where Kamala Harris at? Right? So let's jump to and this happened. This just happened this year. This happened under their presidency. All right. And you Israelites ran looking at them as they the savior. Okay. Isaiah 59:4. Let me just jump to it. Isaiah 59:4. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. Yeah, that vanity is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, man. It says they conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. All right, let's jump to verse 9. It says, therefore is judgment far from us, neither doeth justice overtake us. Right, ain't no justice for the Israelites, not in America. First of all, this place is predicated on injustice towards us. So you have to be foolish to look for justice in this place. The only thing that's happening is more and more as time progresses, more and more injustices is happening. It says, we wait for light, but behold obscurity. All right. And obscurity is basically you can't make out what's going on. Let's look up obscurity, what they got in the Hebrew. All right. Chashak. All right. Darkness, obscurity. All right. Misery, sorrow, wickedness, death, ignorance. Right. Because here it is. Our people ignorantly voted for these people, expecting to be overtaken by justice, expecting a change. And when you look, how ironic, when you look up Joe Biden's name, when you look up his first name is actually Joseph, and you look up Joseph Robert Biden, all right, it means he will add scoundrels to trust in. The name Robert means scoundrel, okay, and Biden means faith or abide, and Joseph means he will add. So he will add scoundrels to trust in. Look at his cabinet. You ain't getting no justice out of them people. Out of them people. All right. It says, right. You can't make out what's going on because light represents truth. All right. Darkness represents falsehood, lies, and what that brings, misery. Okay. Habakkuk 1:1. It says, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, O Lord, how long shall I cry and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence and thou wilt not save. See, we need to be, the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay. We need to be saved from this place. Okay. Here it is, as racist as the so-called white T man is, right? And they passed the Asian hate bill. I ain't see no Asians getting beat up. Okay, shot, killed. Here, 9/11, the so-called Arabs and all. I ain't seen no police kill no Arabs. I ain't hear about no police beating up. Now that's not to say, you know what I'm saying, might have been some isolated incidents, that's something that happened to them, but you can't cut the TV on without something happening to our people. It says, why doest thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? Right, this whole this month, right? It was Juneteenth. It used to be Juneteenth. Now it's associated with the alphabet people. All right. So we just got to behold iniquity. We can't even, you know what I'm saying? We can't even avoid it. It's everywhere. It's in your face. All that work. They got it all that work plastered in your face. It says, for spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slack. What law? The law of the Bible. All right, you got Christians talking about the law done away with. Okay, well, if the law done away with, what is sin then? You got the alphabet community done took over the Christian church. You would never hear the especially in the so-called black church, you would never hear them condemn the alphabet community. All right, they all in there acting like Medea. All right. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. And why is that? For the wicked do it compass about the righteous. That's why the scripture says, wicked walk. Let me grab that real quick. That blue letter, boy, that blue letter app be hating, boy. You gotta type it exact. It's Psalm 12 and 8. It said, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. So the vilest people have been exalted, man. All right. All these these people, the Bill Gates and Epstein, and well, not Epstein anymore, but at one point he was, Joe Biden himself. OK, all these people in high places. And why do you think all these different evils are multiplying in the earth? Right. Maccabees, first Maccabees 1:9, it says, after Alexander generals put on crowns and ruled, evils were multiplied in the earth. Why? Because that was the YT civilization, right? Once the Greeks came into power, anything was fair game. You know, that race of people was land with animals, land with men. Okay, doing all type of stuff. Even in the 1800s. All right, the Europeans, a lot of the mummies missing. All right, from when they was excavated in Africa, because they was eating them. They was eating the dead remains, thinking that it gave them powers and knowledge and things like that, man. So it says the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. So that's why it's only more and more and more and more injustices. All right. Obama gave the alphabet the right to marry. Okay. And now that's progressing. That's rapidly progressing. Now everything is based on children now. They keep applying these things to children in some type of way. All right, let's get Val real quick. Vilest, Zalawath, worthlessness, terror, trembling. Worthlessness was good enough because you are worthless, and that is worthless, man. It's vanity. All right, ain't no good gonna come of that. All right, only negative. So back in Habakkuk. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceeded. Yeah, the wrong things become law. Okay, the wrong thing happened. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Let's hopefully let all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, Shalom.